Hello and welcome to this short video about Jaguar XK8 removing my oil sump. This is episode 41 in my series of short videos about how I change my cam chains, tensioners and guides. And in this video I'm going to show how I remove my sump. There's some top tips in this, and actually I go through the torquing sequence in detail. Okay, so first of all, the tools I used were an M8 and an M10 socket. The M10 socket I used because I used a different bolt, which I'll go into shortly. Some Loctite, some ratchet tools, and obviously a torque drive. Okay, so in this video, I've assumed I've already removed the oil and filter. That's covered by a separate video. It should be flashing up here above in the banner. So the first thing you've got to do is remove the sump bolts. Now, in my experience, these sump bolts are very, very rusty, and I started out using a 12-point socket and quickly moved to a 6-point as a lot of the bolts were spinning out. I was with the bolts were really rusty and they were unable to get out with a 12-point socket. So a bit of a top tip: use a 6-point socket on your rusty bolts heads. Okay, it's quite easy to remove the sump. Then take all the bolts out. The sump will pull off gently. What I did then, I checked the sump for debris. You can see there's lots of scattering of plastic, believe it or not. No surprise there. And I actually used one of the guys on the Jaguar forums had suggested to remove the sump to check for debris in the filler. So I stuck my little finger in and I had a fish around, see if there's any debris in there. Guess what? Loads of big lumps of cam tensioner in there. And this is just a few of them. This is about half of the bits I took out. There must have been a whole top of secondary tensioner in there, blocking the oil feed. So good tip from one of the guys on the Jaguar forums. I forget his name. Sorry about that. Okay, then I cleaned up all the old oil that I could get at from in the sump. I used a small plastic plectrum to remove the seal carefully. Then I used some Scotch-Brite to clean the seal groove and the surface, get rid of all the old oil, make sure it seals up properly. Wiped it all down with a rag. Then it's quite easy to fit the new seal. You can't get it wrong. There's two tabs. You see the one here, and there's one over here that makes sure you can't get it the wrong way up. So there's no issue with that. It does take a bit of faffing about to get it the right way, but you can get it in eventually. Now here's another tip or an upgrade. I went for my steel bolts to see how rusty they were. I didn't really want to reuse this again, so I went to stainless steel A2-70. It's a slightly bigger socket. That's why I've got two sockets, 8 to take these off and 10 for the new ones. Okay, another top tip then, when you're using your stainless bolts, only for covers, not for anything that's critical, use thread lock. Now this will stop the electrolytic effect of the dissimilar metals and accelerating the rusting and make them a seize. And it also acts as a locking agent because obviously stainless torques are a little bit higher. So I tighten those up at 8 millimeters, with an 8 in your case, but 10 millimeter in my case socket, and over 13 newton meters. You'll notice the sump cover has changed color. Actually, this I took the opportunity to paint it. That's covered in another video. Should be flashing up the top now. And that's why I use a slightly higher torque as well, because the paint was a little bit thicker. I wanted to make sure I took all that slack out of it. Okay, now here's the important thing: the torque sequence to try and avoid any stresses and build-up which may result in a leak. So from number 1 here, this is the filler point. This is actually the front of the vehicle. This is the left-hand side as you look from the front. So number 1, and go directly opposite, diagonally opposite number 2, over to left number 3, over to the right number 4, and that actually follows in this crisscross, this cross pattern, basically working its way around. So across down to number, well, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see it's going round. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And you're just doing the corners now. The corners are last. Torque the corners up last. And what I did once I've actually done all torqued up in that sequence, I actually went round and double checked all the torques, make sure that none of them had backed off at all. Okay, so that's the Sump all assembled, looking sparkling and new, with its new bolts and new paint. And now all I need to do is complete the oil change or the oil service. Now that's covered by this video, which I spoke about earlier. I don't intend to go over that again. Okay, so hopefully that's informative. Real good advice to drop the sump off and check for bits in there after you've had your cam chains and tensioners done. So hopefully that's useful to you. Please like, comment, share and subscribe if you'd like to see more XK8 videos.